Welcome back to What's the Buzz in Western New York. If you have a DUI or a DWI or are a young driver with many traffic tickets, the Resource Training Center in Amherst can help. They offer court-mandated classes in a more private setting. They also offer the Alive at 25 course, which teaches young drivers how to overcome the urge to text while driving. In addition, the center offers credentialed classes for those wishing to become alcohol and substance abuse counselors. Western New York, have you heard of the Resource Training Center? Well, we've got one right here on Harlem Road. Let me introduce you to the program director, Monica Ferrara. It's so nice to meet you, Monica. And I'm sure that some people have heard of the Resource Training Center, but I bet a lot of people don't know you're here for us in Western New York. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about first yourself, and then about what you do as the program director of the Resource Training Center.
Okay. Again, I am the program director here at the Resource Training Center, and I'm a rehab counselor and also a mental health counselor.
And you're a graduate from UB.
I have a degree in rehab counseling and mental health.
So Monica, what programs do you offer here at the Resource Training Center?
Well, we have several. The first one is our credentialed alcohol and substance abuse counselor training program, and people can add that credential to a degree they already have, or they can just get that degree because the state requirement for the CASE Act, actually for people to work with people going towards recovery, is a GED.
Oh, excellent. So this is actually a center where someone can come and be educated.
Correct.
To counsel others.
Yep.
And then, of course, on the other side of the coin, it's not just counselors and certifications that you're doing.
Right. We run the New York State Drinking Driver Program, and that's for individuals who have an alcohol or drug charge while driving. And what typically would happen is somebody would hire an attorney, see a judge, and then in order to get their license reinstated, they'd have to take a 7-week education program, and we offer that here.
So that's a great resource if you make a mistake, if you find yourself in trouble. The Resource Training Center is going to be able to help you out.
Yes, that's correct.
And how does the Resource Training Center differ from other centers that may offer similar training?
Our classrooms are typically smaller. And I think when people are charged with this offense, whether they make the paper or they don't, there's a lot of shame attached. So they really don't want to be in a setting where they see 4 or 5 of their neighbors, or a big classroom where they run the risk of somebody sharing their personal information. So what's nice about our classes is they're typically smaller.
And then you have a few other programs.
Yep, we have the Alive at 25. And that is, we use that now as a court-based program through some of the area judges use it in Amherst, Tonawanda, and Lancaster, and a few others, for people that have multiple tickets, young people. Because what we found that doing our New York State Drinking Driver program, it's typically not something that just happens one day. There's a series of events. People that are getting a DWI or a young person has multiple tickets, they're more of a high-risk individual, and those people are prone to finding themselves in trouble.
So you're trying to get a hold of these young people and stop that from happening. And then 100 Deadly Days of Summer.
Right. It started around Memorial Day, it goes to Labor Day, and that's the time where young people are on the road a lot. They're done with school, you know, the college students are back. You have all the drivers that pass their road tests throughout the year. They're spending a lot more time in the vehicle, either with friends, going to the beach or going to work or doing whatever, and probably less parental supervision over the summer. The parents are still working.
And I understand you have a very interesting tool that you use here in your classes.
We do. We have the simulator upstairs.
So do I get to go driving?
You do.
All right.
Kim, this is the simulator that we use in our Alive at 25 program.
So explain to us what this young man is doing.
Okay, Nathan is driving. He's got a steering wheel and a pedal, and he's receiving text messages that he has to answer while he's driving. And they're telling him to speed up or to slow down, but he's got to answer the text.
So he's trying to handle the texting and the driving, and I think that's a bit of a reality check for particularly young people about how quickly.
It is. And distractions and young people and driving is up.
Sure. Well, they all have phones. And friends in the back seat.
When I look at the people that come through our New York State Drinking Driver program, it's a series of events that gets them there. So they typically tend to be high-risk people, and high-risk people are getting tickets, and they are getting speeding tickets, they're following too close. We're seeing that, so I try to provide the education before something goes too far.
And that's one of the nice things about this program is that you are a counselor. You do have your degrees in counseling, and so you're in a position to see these individuals who are getting ticket after ticket and kind of identify that they need help. The problem is maybe bigger than just the ticket that's in front of them.
Correct. And I think a lot of young people might not have good positive role models in their life, and a lot of times I'll ask people who taught you to drive, and if they tell me mom or dad, I'll ask how their driving is. And usually they start laughing. And typically, your children are repeating the pattern. So the parents are really the role model to this.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Monica, for taking us to your classroom, for letting us see the simulator and see this poor young man get into car crash after car crash. And so Western New York, remember that you have the Resource Training Center available to you. Monica's here to help. And, you know, if you get a ticket, if you have a problem, there's a place to go, and you can learn and hopefully not make the same mistake twice.
Begin your journey. Take the first step in trying to put the pieces of your life back together. The Resource Training Center is at 4255 Harlem Road in Buffalo. For more information, give them a call at 983-2258 or go to WNYresourcetraining.org.